So we're now going to work on quiz 6, question 6. So let me share the screen for that. Here we go. All right. So here we are. I want to say it's the right one. So let me just quickly check the quiz to make sure that I do have the right one in front of me. Just making sure. Let's do the quiz 6. Edit. Just want to make sure that I have the right question. I think it's 20 million. Yes, let me just make sure. Yes, 180. All right, so this is the right one. So let's go back to what we have. So what we have here is we have a movie. I'm going to make it bigger for you also. Can you see this okay?
Yes, I can see that very well.
Perfect. So here we go. We have a movie, 20 million bucks, taken in London, the third in our franchise. Fabulous. So what we do is, again, first thing, we do our valuation. We have to figure out for our finance plan, what is the movie going to be worth so we can actually structure our finance plan. So this, again, is simply us putting together projections, estimates. So we're thinking in this case, the movie will have 70% of the budget in the take scenario, which is the worst case scenario, to be receiving from international sales distribution rights. So everything outside of the US is what we're thinking is going to be 70% of the budget. So therefore, the international sales estimates are 70% of 20 million, which is 14 million. We also, and I'm going to jump down here, thinking, what do we think we could do for the US? And we're thinking we will probably make 35% of the budget from the US. So that's why we're going 35% of 20 million is 7 million. So our estimated worldwide distribution revenues is therefore 7 million plus 14 million, 21 million. That's our valuation. We're going to talk about the pre-sales in a minute, but let's first focus on the valuation consisting of international sales estimates, in this case, 70% of the budget of 20 million, US distribution revenues consisting of 35% of the budget, $7 million. So we're thinking we're going to make 21 million on our 21 million on our $20 million movie, worst case scenario. So that's where we are right now. So then we're going to talk about the finance plan. So we're going to have a bank loan, we have pre-sales, all the usual nonsense. So the bank loan, again, is going to include a pre-sale loan and a gap loan. So when we look at pre-sales, how much pre-sales do we have? And we are thinking we're going to do 35% of the budget in pre-sales. 35% of $20 million is $7 million. So I put that here, just so I have a reference for my calculation. So then on the 7 million, the bank is going to only allow 80%. Again, like we had before, the bank says, in your pre-sale contracts, there are some black sheep that we're not so happy with. We're going to lower those. So we're going to give you 80% of your $7 million that you have generated in pre-sale contracts. And that's 80% of 7 million is 5,600,000. Now, when we do our pre-sales, we get an installment payment from the distributors when we sign them, right? In this case, the installment payment is not 20% as we had before in our example. They're only giving us 10%. So these distributors say, we're buying your movie and we're giving you a down payment of 10%. 10% of $7 million is 700,000. So we're going to have to deduct that because we already received the money. The bank will not give us a loan for this money because we already got it. So then we have a loan of 4,900,000 because we're taking 5,600,000 that the bank will allow, the 80% of our pre-sale loans, and we're deducting the money that we already got, which is 4,900,000. But here's what's going to happen. The sales agent says, when you make money as the producer, I want to make money on my fees. When you get paid, I get paid. So they're basically charging us the 16% fee here. I should put in 16% so you have a reference. They're charging us a 16% fee. 16% of 700 is 112. So we have to actually make sure we deduct it here because we're not getting the entire 700,000 that we usually would be getting, the down payment. We have to pay the sales agent some. So I'm putting this here as an expense. Does that make sense logically why I'm doing this? Okay, great. So now let's go back to our bank loan. We got the 5,900,000 as a pre-sale loan. The bank is going to charge us 9% of that, which is 441,000. So the pre-sale loan amount net in this case is 4,459,000. Okay. So we get further down the line to figure out what is our gap loan going to be. So for that, we have to first go into how much rights do we actually have available? What do we have available? We don't know. We have to go look. So we're looking at, we have 14 million in international sales that we think we're going to get from all the international territories. Of that, we have to deduct the pre-sales that we already made, which is $7 million. So all we have left to sell is $7 million, right? So then the bank says, I'm only giving you half of that because I don't know if you're actually going to sell all $7 million of rights, and we do not want to take the risk in case you don't. So they're cutting this in half, and they're giving us a loan of $3,500,000. We're running a quick calculation to make sure the $3,500,000 is not more than the allowance of the 20% cap of the budget. So we're looking at how much is 20% of 20 million. 20% of 20 million is 4 million. We're under that. We're okay. So the bank will actually give us the 3,500,000 as a gross loan amount. They will charge us an interest of 12%. They're charging us more in the real world, so you know, because this loan is unsecured. The pre-sale loan, we have contracts. The bank can take these contracts and they see them as assets. So that it's more safer for them. It's more secure to fund a loan against contracts versus funding a loan against basically hoping that we make those sales that are still available to be sold. So they want a little more money for that, you know, taking a little more risk. They want a little more interest. They're charging us 12% here for this portion. And then they're also charging a loan fee and a legal fee, which is always what they do. So we have to deduct all these costs to figure out what do we have available for our budget to cover it, to cover the cost. So for this gap loan, we now have 3,500,000 available. So I'm not putting them together. I'm taking the 3,500,000 net gap loan amount and the 4,459,000 for the net pre-sale loan amount, and I'm getting to 7,464,000 that I'm actually receiving from the bank. But I also have to remember what I need to pay the bank back. And here it is, 8,400,000, and that has to do with the fact that I'm getting 4,900,000 as the gross pre-sale loan and 3,500,000 as the gross gap loan that includes the interest charges, the loan and legal fees as well. That is what the bank gets paid later when we go to the recoupment schedule. Does that make sense?
It does. How did we get to the legal fees? Were they already there?
They were, very good question. They were basically provided to you in the assumptions. It basically says there, assume you're going to be paying a legal fee and a loan fee of $75,000. It said it in the assumption. So when you go through the case study of the question, you see all the fees. It should be in there.
Okay.
That's why we're listing it here. So then in this finance plan, we're also getting a junior loan. We're not just having a senior loan, we also have a junior loan. And this junior lender says, I'm giving you 10% of your budget as a junior loan. 10% of 20 million is 2 million. They won't charge us an interest, but they will charge us a legal fee and they will charge us an executive producer fee, both of which is mentioned in your assumptions as well. So you have to deduct those fees. And then you're ending up with a junior loan of 1,850,000. So here we have the junior net loan, 180 1,850,000. The total senior net loan, basically senior net loan of 7,464,000, and we also have the 700,000 down payment. And again, we are deducting the sales fees here because we have to pay them. So that's what we have right now. So then we're going into the production incentive. The production incentive that we would be receiving for this movie is 25% of the budget. 25% of 20 million is $5 million. The lender charges us quite a bit of money. They want 15% as a loan fee. They want a legal fee of 25,000, and they also want an executive producer fee of 50,000, all of which, by the way, is pretty real. So just so you know. So we have to deduct all those fees, and then the net incentive that we would be receiving is $4,175,000. So we're adding that here to the money that we get to cover our $20 million budget. So far, so clear?
Yes.
So then we have to figure out what else is there. In the assumptions, we were told that we have a brand sponsorship for this movie that is $600,000. We're like, great, we'll take the $600,000. The agency that got us those brand sponsorships will charge us a fee. And that fee is 15% on the sponsorship amount. So we have to pay them $90,000, which is why we will be receiving net $510,000, right? And then in the assumption, it also mentions that we have a music investor who's supporting us with $120,000, and they recoup from the music royalties that they will be receiving when the movie gets distributed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 120 is here. So if I take all these finance sources together, and I'm deducting the sales fees as well. So all I'm doing here is I'm summing all this up. This, I'm summing it all up. I'm summing it all up. I'm hoping this is right. Summing it all up, summing it all up. It should be, is that a different number? No, I think it's the same number. Should be 17,707,000 that we have so far. I'm going to make a quick check to make sure that is the right number. Yeah, it's the right number. Making sure. Yes. All right. It's the right number. Is it? Making sure. Going back up. Yes, it's the right number. Right. Never know with Excel. So then we have 14,707,000. I have to figure out how much money do we need to hit our $20 million budget. So the equity investor for this movie would give us 5,293,000. So we're adding that in order to get our $20 million budget. So that's all that happens for the funding. So now we have a finance plan. Now we're shooting the movie, and now we're doing the recoupment. Movie is shot, everything's ready. Movie is being delivered to the distributors. Movie is being sold to the distributors that were still available for the open rights. We're selling everything. Everything is gone. So we're actually selling it the way we thought we would, per our projections, per our valuation. So here's what's happening. We do have 14 million in sales for international. We are deducting the 700,000 that we already got. So we get 13,300,000 from the international. The US is the same. We're selling it for 7 million. So altogether, we have now 20,300,000 in revenues. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Great. So then we have to go to the expenses. So here we have 203,000 that we have to pay to the sales agent. And then we have the sales fee of 16 million of this amount because we already paid the sales fee on this portion. So we only need to pay the sales fee on the portion that is still being sold. So because we're not having to pay 16% on the entire international distribution rights revenues, but only 16% on the 13,300,000, this amount is 2,128,000. Remember, we already paid the 16% on this. So we don't have to pay that again. That's why we need to jump here and really just pay the sales agent what they actually still owed at this moment, right? So that's why it's 2,128,000. The US sales agent that we had is charging us a 10% fee as well. Hold on a second. I'm going to put that here so it looks nicer. not to put that away here, so make it a little cleaner. So it's basically 700,000 because the US distribution was $7 million. So normally what happens, the US is sold by a talent agent, not necessarily by a sales agent who is mainly responsible to say sell international rights. So in the real world, you would have probably someone like CAA, UTA, ICM, whoever's handling the movie, sell the US for you. And they usually charge less. So that's why we're saving money here, because we only have to pay them 10% instead of 16% that we would have given the sales agent, right? So that's 10% on the US, which is 700,000. Then we have to pay the senior loan back, the gross loan amount, which was 8,400,000. Then we pay the junior lender, the 2 million that they gave us, but they're charging us a premium of 10%. So we have to pay that here on top. And the premium was given to you in the case study assumptions. So basically just adding that here. The equity gave us 5,293,000. And again, they get that 20% premium. So we're adding that here. So altogether, our expenses are 19,982,600. We're deducting those expenses from the worldwide distribution revenues of 20,300,000. So we have left 317,400 in net revenues right now. So far, so clear?
Yes.
Great. So then we have to pay some people. So in the assumptions, it says you have to give the cost and director together 30% of your profits, and you have to give the equity investor, again, 50% of the percentage they made as an investment in relation to the budget. So the cost is 30% of 317,400, and the equity investor is 13.23% of 317,400. So altogether, we're paying these people 137,220. And if I deduct this from the 317,400, I am left with 180,180. And that is the answer to that question. Makes sense?
Yes.
So I will be sending this to you as well, together with the video that we just recorded. So you have that on file, and you can always go back and look at it whenever you have a question, whenever you feel like I'm getting stuck, I'm not sure, how did we do this? Why did we do this? Why did we use the steps we use? If you look at this recording, you're going to be fine with pretty much all the case studies that are coming up.
Good. I appreciate that. This makes so much more sense now. Yeah.
I know it's a lot of information and it's a lot of steps, and you're doing this for the first time. And this was a very difficult quiz because I wanted to get you guys ready for the midterm. And you're not the only one that struggled with this quiz, just let me tell you. So they're going to be very happy that we're doing this on video. So maybe I can have them take a look at it too. So thank you for doing this with me so that I can get a better understanding where you got stuck, which is likely where other people also got stuck, because it's usually kind of a similar thing. So this is very helpful for everyone. And if you stumble into other case studies online where you have questions, where you get stuck, always reach out, and I'm happy to do this. And we're doing them together, you and I.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This makes so much more sense now.
Great. So I will send everything to you. I'll let you go. And then, again, reach out if there's anything else I can help you with.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.